Millionaire Woman Rejected by Rich Suitor, then marries waiter who turns out to be a genius. Alexandra. Sterling adjusts her Cartier watch nervously as she waits in the exclusive private dining room of Le Bernardin, one of Manhattan's most prestigious restaurants. At 35, she built Sterling Tech Solutions into a $400 million empire specializing in artificial intelligence and machine learning applications for Fortune 500 companies. Tonight's dinner represents a culmination of 6 months of carefully orchestrated courtship by Richard Whitmore III, heir to a banking dynasty whose family name graces buildings throughout the financial district. The relationship with Richard has been everything Alexandra's social circle considers ideal. Two successful individuals from prominent families, their combined wealth creating a power couple that dominates charity galas and society pages. Richard's proposal, which Alexandra expects tonight, would cement her position in Manhattan's most exclusive circles while providing the kind of strategic marriage alliance that builds generational wealth. But Alexandra has been experiencing growing doubts about Richard's suitability as a life partner. Their conversations rarely venture beyond surface topics: stock portfolios, real estate acquisitions, and social obligations that maintain their public image. When Alexandra attempts to discuss her passion for technological innovation or her dreams of using AI to solve societal problems, Richard's attention visibly wanes. His responses revealing more interest in the profit potential than the humanitarian applications. Richard arrives 40 minutes late, his delay explained with casual dismissiveness that assumes Alexandra's time is less valuable than his own. He moves through the restaurant with the entitlement of someone accustomed to having doors opened and tables held regardless of inconvenience to others. His greeting to Alexandra lacks warmth, focusing instead on business updates and social gossip that fills conversation without creating connection. As dinner progresses, Richard's behavior reveals attitudes that Alexandra has been trying to overlook. He treats the restaurant staff with condescending politeness, snapping fingers to summon servers and speaking about them as if they were invisible. When their waiter, a young man named Daniel, politely suggests wine pairings, Richard dismisses his recommendations with barely concealed disdain, ordering the most expensive bottle on the menu instead. Alexandra observes the interaction between Richard and Daniel with growing discomfort. Daniel handles Richard's rudeness with professional grace, but Alexandra notices the intelligence in his eyes, the careful way he articulates his suggestions, and his obvious knowledge of cuisine and wine that exceeds mere server training. More importantly, she sees how Richard's behavior affects someone who clearly deserves better treatment. The evening reaches its anticipated climax when Richard produces an engagement ring whose size and cost are obviously intended to impress, rather than demonstrate personal significance. But his proposal reveals the fundamental disconnect that has been growing between them. Richard speaks about their marriage in terms of social positioning, tax advantages, and the powerful alliance their families would create. He mentions love only in passing, as if it were a pleasant bonus rather than the foundation of their union. Alexandra's response surprises Richard completely. Instead of the grateful acceptance he clearly expects, she asks about his vision for their actual relationship, their daily life together, their shared goals, their plans for building something meaningful beyond wealth accumulation. Richard's answers reveal that he views marriage as a social contract rather than an emotional partnership, expecting Alexandra to fulfill traditional hostess duties while he manages the serious business of expanding their combined empire. The conversation escalates when Alexandra mentions her desire to use their resources for philanthropic technology projects, particularly developing AI applications that could improve education access for underserved communities. Richard's reaction is dismissive and condescending, suggesting that such concerns are naive idealism inappropriate for someone of her position. He implies that her business success was largely due to market timing rather than genuine innovation. Alexandra realizes that Richard sees her not as an equal partner, but as an attractive accessory whose success enhances his own image while her actual opinions and aspirations remain irrelevant to his plans. His proposal isn't about loving her, but about acquiring her as part of his collection of status symbols. The rejection that follows stuns Richard into speechless anger. Alexandra explains that she cannot marry someone who views her achievements as decorative rather than substantial, who dismisses her dreams as childish fantasies, and who treats service workers as inferior beings. She returns his ring and excuses herself from dinner, leaving Richard to face the social embarrassment of a very public rejection. As Alexandra prepares to leave Le Bernardin, she encounters Daniel clearing tables in the now quiet dining room. His shift is ending, and he's completing the methodical cleaning that maintains the restaurant's impeccable standards. Alexandra approaches him to apologize for Richard's behavior during dinner, explaining that such rudeness doesn't reflect her own values or attitudes. Daniel's response reveals both grace and intelligence that immediately captivates Alexandra. He accepts her apology graciously while making clear that he doesn't hold her responsible for her companion's behavior. Their conversation flows naturally from restaurant service to broader topics. Daniel demonstrates knowledge of wine chemistry, discusses the mathematics of flavor combinations, and reveals an understanding of business operations that suggests education far beyond typical server training. Alexandra learns that Daniel is working at Le Bernardin while completing his PhD in theoretical physics at Columbia University. His research focuses on quantum computing applications, specifically developing algorithms that could revolutionize artificial intelligence processing. The irony isn't lost on Alexandra. While Richard dismissed her technological interests as frivolous, Daniel shares her passion for using advanced computing to solve complex problems. Their conversation continues in a nearby coffee shop, where Daniel's brilliance becomes increasingly apparent. He discusses quantum mechanics with the fluency of someone completely comfortable with advanced mathematics, explains the potential applications of quantum computing in ways that demonstrate both technical expertise and visionary thinking, and shares ideas about technology's potential to address social inequities that align perfectly with Alexandra's own aspirations. But Daniel also reveals the practical challenges that have forced him to work in restaurants while pursuing his research. Academic funding for theoretical physics is extremely limited, particularly for students without family wealth or institutional connections. Despite his obvious brilliance and innovative research, Daniel struggles to afford basic living expenses, while dedicating most of his time to studies that could revolutionize computing technology. Alexandra finds herself more intellectually stimulated by 30 minutes of conversation with Daniel than by 6 months of social interactions with Richard. Daniel sees technology as a tool for human advancement rather than merely profit generation, approaches complex problems with creativity and ethical consideration, and demonstrates the kind of innovative thinking that builds truly transformative companies. As their evening together concludes, Alexandra realizes that she has encountered someone whose intelligence and values align with her own vision for using technology to improve the world. Daniel represents everything Richard lacks: genuine brilliance, authentic passion for meaningful work, and respect for others regardless of their social status or economic position. The chapter ends with Alexandra making an impulsive invitation that surprises both of them. She asks Daniel to dinner the following evening, not at an exclusive restaurant, but at a small place where they can continue their conversation about quantum computing and social applications without the pretensions that dominated her relationship with Richard. Daniel accepts her invitation with obvious interest but also caution, recognizing the vast differences in their economic circumstances while being intrigued by Alexandra's genuine enthusiasm for his research and ideas. Both of them sense that this unexpected encounter might lead to something significant, though neither fully understands how profoundly their lives are about to change. 3 months into their unlikely relationship, Alexandra discovers that her attraction to Daniel extends far beyond intellectual compatibility. Their evenings together have become a journey of mutual discovery, Alexandra sharing her vision for ethical AI development, Daniel explaining quantum computing principles that could revolutionize her industry. What began as curiosity about his research has evolved into genuine admiration for his brilliance and dedication to advancing human knowledge. But Alexandra also observes the financial strain that Daniel's academic pursuit creates. His apartment in Washington Heights is barely furnished. His clothes are clean but worn, and he often works double shifts at the restaurant to afford basic necessities while maintaining his research schedule. Despite his obvious genius and groundbreaking work, Daniel lives in circumstances that would be unimaginable to someone of Alexandra's wealth. The depth of Daniel's intellectual gifts becomes apparent when Alexandra invites him to her company's research facility. Her team of AI specialists, all highly educated and well-compensated professionals, initially view Daniel with polite skepticism, another academic whose theoretical knowledge may lack practical application. But Daniel's examination of their quantum computing infrastructure reveals insights that astonish even Alexandra's most experienced engineers. Daniel identifies optimization opportunities that could increase processing efficiency by 40%, suggests algorithmic improvements that would reduce computational costs dramatically, and proposes quantum entanglement applications that could solve problems Alexandra's team has been working on for years. His recommendations demonstrate not just theoretical knowledge, but an intuitive understanding of how quantum mechanics can be applied to real-world computing challenges. Alexandra's head of research, Dr. Sarah Chun, privately tells her that Daniel's insights represent some of the most innovative thinking she's encountered in 15 years of quantum computing development. His ability to visualize complex mathematical relationships and translate them into practical applications suggests intellectual capabilities that could transform their entire industry. But the most remarkable discovery comes when Alexandra learns about Daniel's doctoral dissertation research. He has been developing a quantum computing algorithm that could revolutionize artificial intelligence processing, making advanced AI applications accessible to smaller organizations and developing countries. His work addresses exactly the kind of technological democratization that Alexandra has dreamed of implementing through her company. Daniel's research has been conducted entirely on borrowed computer time and theoretical models, his limited resources, preventing him from testing his algorithms on actual quantum computing hardware. Despite these constraints, his mathematical proofs and theoretical framework demonstrate revolutionary potential that could reshape how AI systems process information. Alexandra realizes that Daniel possesses not just intelligence, but the kind of visionary thinking that creates paradigm shifts in technology. His combination of theoretical brilliance and practical insight represents exactly what her company needs to maintain its competitive edge while pursuing socially beneficial applications. The turning point in their relationship comes when Alexandra offers Daniel a research position at Sterling Tech Solutions, providing him with access to quantum computing resources, a salary that would eliminate his financial struggles, and the opportunity to develop his algorithms with unlimited computational power. But Daniel's response reveals both his integrity and his independence. He wants to ensure that his research serves humanitarian purposes rather than simply generating profit. Their negotiations about Daniel's potential employment evolve into deeper conversations about shared values and future aspirations. Alexandra learns that Daniel chose theoretical physics, despite its financial limitations, because he believes that advancing human knowledge represents the highest form of service. His willingness to work in restaurants and live in poverty while pursuing research that could benefit all humanity demonstrates a commitment to principles that Alexandra deeply admires. Daniel discovers that Alexandra's wealth hasn't insulated her from genuine concerns about technology's social impact. Her desire to use AI for educational advancement, medical research, and economic development in underserved communities aligns perfectly with his own vision for how quantum computing could democratize access to advanced technology. Their professional collaboration deepens their personal connection as they work together to develop Daniel's quantum algorithms using Sterling Tech's resources. Alexandra observes Daniel's research process and discovers that his brilliance extends beyond technical expertise to include leadership qualities that inspire her entire research team. His ability to explain complex concepts clearly, his patience with colleagues' questions, and his collaborative approach to problem-solving create a laboratory environment that enhances everyone's performance. But Daniel's true genius is revealed when his completed algorithm successfully processes AI computations at speeds and efficiencies that exceed even Alexandra's most optimistic projections. The breakthrough represents a quantum leap in artificial intelligence capabilities, potentially making advanced AI applications available to organizations worldwide regardless of their computational resources. The success of Daniel's research attracts attention from major technology companies, universities, and government agencies. Job offers arrive from Silicon Valley giants offering salaries that would make Daniel wealthy, academic positions at prestigious institutions, and research opportunities that could establish his reputation as one of the world's leading quantum computing experts. Alexandra watches Daniel evaluate these opportunities with growing anxiety, recognizing that his success could lead him away from both her company and their relationship. But Daniel's decision surprises her. He chooses to remain at Sterling Tech Solutions, not because of higher compensation, but because Alexandra's vision for using technology to address social problems aligns with his own values and aspirations. Their professional partnership evolves into a proposal of a different kind when Daniel asks Alexandra to marry him. His proposal lacks the material extravagance of Richard's offering, but it carries something far more valuable: a shared commitment to using their combined resources and talents to advance both technological innovation and human welfare. Daniel's proposal emphasizes partnership rather than acquisition, collaboration rather than possession. He envisions their marriage as a union of equals working together to develop technologies that serve humanity while building a relationship based on mutual respect, intellectual stimulation, and shared values. Alexandra's acceptance marks not just a personal commitment, but a business decision that will reshape her company's future. Daniel's quantum computing algorithms become the foundation for Sterling Tech's next generation of AI applications, positioning the company as a leader in socially responsible technology development. Their wedding, held in a small ceremony focused on family and close friends rather than social positioning, represents a conscious rejection of the superficial values that dominated Alexandra's previous relationship. Instead of emphasizing wealth and status, their celebration focuses on the intellectual partnership and shared mission that brought them together. The story concludes with Alexandra and Daniel launching a joint initiative to provide quantum computing resources to universities and research institutions in developing countries. Their combined expertise, Alexandra's business acumen and industry connections, Daniel's revolutionary algorithms and research capabilities, creates opportunities for technological advancement that serves global educational and scientific development. Richard Whitmore's rejection of Alexandra, based on her insufficient conformity to elite social expectations, inadvertently led her to discover someone whose intelligence and values far exceed anything her previous social circle could offer. Daniel's work as a waiter while pursuing groundbreaking research demonstrated that genuine brilliance often exists in circumstances that superficial society overlooks or dismisses. Their relationship proves that the most meaningful partnerships form between people who share intellectual curiosity, ethical principles, and commitment to using their talents for purposes beyond personal enrichment. Alexandra's choice to marry a waiter who turned out to be a genius reflects her recognition that true worth comes from character and capability rather than social status or inherited wealth. The millionaire woman who was rejected by a rich suitor discovered that the most valuable relationships develop with people who see beyond surface presentations to recognize authentic intelligence and shared values. Daniel's hidden genius revealed itself not through credentials or publicity, but through the quality of his thinking and his dedication to advancing human knowledge regardless of personal cost. Their story demonstrates that love and intellectual partnership can transcend economic circumstances when people prioritize substance over status, choosing companions based on character and capability rather than social positioning or material wealth. In finding each other, Alexandra and Daniel created both a marriage and a mission that serves purposes far greater than individual success or social acceptance.
Thank you for watching this story unfold with us here on M&A The Story Unfolds. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new tale. We'd love to know where you're watching. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of the world you're joining us from. Your support means everything. See you in the next story.